My value comes from the knowledge that I have and what I'm able to like teach people. And if I don't know something, then my value goes down.
Ignition sequence start. 3, 2, 1.
Aaron Krall, what's up, my man?
Hey.
Dude,
what's going on, man?
Really appreciate you doing this.
Yeah.
Founder of SaaS Growth Hackers, conversion trial expert, add a ton of value in this space. I've seen a lot of your talks at events. We're conference buds. That's where we get to hang out, spend a lot of time together, crack some jokes. But I wanted to bring you on here and just learn more about your journey. I actually don't know a lot about what you did before SaaS Growth Hacks. And I met, no, let's not call her out. Anyways, I was going to say I met part of your team last year. You're like, she doesn't work for me. And I'm like, well, okay. So I'll digress. What did you do prior to creating the largest Facebook group on the internet for SaaS founders?
Yeah. How far do you want me to go back?
I don't know.
It was a stormy night, 1984. And so.
Wait, you're from Utah?
Born in California.
Okay.
Yeah.
Live in Utah.
Live in Utah right now. So I graduated from BYU in advertising.
BYU?
BYU, Brigham Young University.
Okay.
In Provo, Utah.
Okay.
Yeah. And then I went to go work for L'Oreal, the hair care company. Maybe you've heard of it.
That's obvious.
Yeah.
Okay.
And
are they part of like a big conglomerate?
Who?
L'Oreal.
Oh yeah.
Like,
huge.
like,
they own so many different brands.
But are they the major?
They're the umbrella.
Okay,
company.
they're not like Procter and Gamble. Are they owned by Procter and Gamble?
No.
Okay.
L'Oreal is like the Procter and Gamble of housing products or whatever.
Cool.
Yeah.
And they're based. They just have an office in Utah.
No, New York. I went to New York. Went to New York City.
Big city.
Yep.
Cool.
Big city.
How old were you?
This was right after graduation, so I was about 23. Yeah.
That's cool, dude.
Yeah.
Wow.
I entered a competition at BYU. It's called the Brandstorm competition. So L'Oreal goes to BYU every year, and they do a competition, and whoever wins that competition, they all get internships at L'Oreal.
And did you win the competition?
We got to the U.S. finals. Didn't get into the international finals, but I still got an internship there.
Oh, cool. So internship to full-time job?
So this is where it gets interesting. So I don't know if you know anything about me, hair care is probably not my passion.
It looks like the top of your list.
Yeah.
Of importance. I don't know.
My follicles are
just stellar.
Just beautiful.
Yeah.
So I had a really terrible experience.
What were you doing there? Marketing?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. They gave me a project.
Was there a lot of women?
Yeah.
Like young 23-year-old. Were you like the minority there? Is that why? How long did you stay?
No, I would say I was the minority.
Okay.
Yeah.
How long did you stay?
I was there for about 6 months.
Okay. I thought you were there for like a few years.
No. It was an internship.
6 months, and you're like, okay. So
6 months. I bombed the presentation at the end in front of all the L'Oreal execs.
Yeah.
And I remember in the kind of interview or whatever at the end, the presentation, the head of my department, who I'd only talked to like a few times, said, "How did you come up with this terrible idea?" And I remember thinking, "Wow, I really
don't like you, and I quit."
Yeah, I really bombed this.
But you just said that internally.
Yeah, and then I remember like I was just like, I didn't know what to say. I was just stunned. It was probably like one of the most like stressful, terrible moments of my life.
Of your life.
Yeah.
Even like today.
Yeah, like
that
most
moment.
Embarrassing. Most like.
Did he say that in front of like a panel?
Yeah, everybody. Like,
call him out. Who was it? I want his name.
I can't remember his name.
Oh, come on.
I can't remember his name. His last name was Patel.
Dude, that wasn't nice, Mr. Patel.
Yeah.
L'Oreal.
Well, anyways,
it
made it easier for me to say no. And they brought me into the office and they said, "Well, I don't think we're going to continue our internship with you."
You're like,
and I was like,
ding.
Okay, good. Yeah. Thanks. And then I, left.
So let's in the movies they did like the montage at this point, like what did you do afterwards? Like, multiple things.
Okay, so I was in New York and I went on food stamps.
Okay,
I didn't have a job.
Shit, you like legit applied for food stamps?
Yep, I had to go to the food stamp office every week, and I had to like say yes, I'm looking for a job.
Did you just not want to move back to Utah?
I did not want to. I felt like moving back to California was like me totally failing. If I moved back to my parents' house, that was me. I felt 100%
the
complete
same
failure.
thing, moved out west, 9/11 happened, and I'm out west, everything dried up. And I thought, if I go back, I messed up.
Yeah.
I proved my dad right, because he's like, why are you doing this? You have a
Exactly.
great
Yeah.
place. You should
Yeah.
stay. And I'm like, no, I got to go explore.
Yeah.
Cool.
I would
Well-
rather live on the street in New York in a cardboard box than go back home to my parents' basement, you know? Total ego thing. Total
Yeah.
ego thing. I know a lot of people
They
do
didn't
it.
beat you, right? I'm assuming.
No.
Okay. It
No,
wasn't
they may
that
have.
bad.
They may have when I returned.
Yeah.
I don't know. I didn't go back.
Okay.
So yeah, I was on food stamps for a while. Finally got a job for a real estate company doing marketing, and then a friend out from high school called me out of the blue and said, "Hey, dude, you want to start a business with me?" And I was like, "Yeah, sure. I don't have anything going on." So we started a business, and then we moved to Spokane, Washington.
Okay.
I haven't talked to this guy in probably 7 years.
He was in Spokane?
He was living. I think he was living in California at the time.
Okay.
Yeah, and we both moved to Spokane, Washington. Excuse me, and started a business, Click Marketing. I had
PPC?
It was PPC. It was website design. Everything under
Whatever
the
you
sun.
want. Open the jacket.
Yeah, I'll be your IT guy.
Yeah,
Dirty
I will
toilet.
set up your mail server.
Yep.
I am unabashedly employable.
Exactly.
Hire us.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I remember our first client was two ladies that sold something called the Biomat, which was like this mat that you put on the ground. It has like crystals in it, and it like rejuvenates your energy.
Oh, dude, I'd buy that.
Yeah.
Like
It's
just
like
through my
it
feet?
cures cancer.
Chakra
and like,
enhancers?
Yeah, chakra enhancers. And I remember thinking, I do not believe in this product at all, but I will build.
sell it.
If they give me money, I will do anything for money.
Yeah.
So
And that was like a keystone customer for you
that
guys.
was a keystone customer for me. Yeah.
So how long, like fast forward a little bit. So you did that. What was that called?
Click Marketing.
Okay, Click Marketing. How long did you do that for?
I did that for two or 3 years.
Okay.
Then
And
I left the partnership.
Yep.
And then I stayed in Spokane for a long time, and I just ended up doing video.
Now, geography-wise, obviously I'm Canadian, so it's hard for me. So Spokane, is that in the West Coast?
West Coast.
Yeah, I think most of when we do an annual ski trip, and they all fly into Spokane and drive up to the coast. So you're really close, an hour and a half from the U.S. Canadian border.
Yeah, we're super close.
Yeah, I think my buddy Ben Greenfield. Have you heard of this guy?
Maybe.
Yeah, he was on Joe Rogan. He's one of the top like biohackers in the world. I think he lives in Spokane. Or if there's another Spokane, is there another Spokane?
There might be like a Spokane, India. You know, there's a Salt Lake City, Dubai.
India is like India. No, he's American, so
Yeah.
he's probably in
Yeah.
Spokane then.
Yeah,
Cool.
probably. Beautiful place.
Leave that and then go do.
Video. So then I started doing video production.
Okay.
I got like a Canon
C100, C250s.
Oh, dude, like a T1, Canon T1.
See, I don't know what that means.
Yeah.
I just know I spent a lot of money on one of these.
Yeah. You got a lot of cameras here. They're
Well, Jared's like, we need this, Dan. And I'm like, why is it $25,000? What? I mean, I got an iPhone. Just get a clamp. What are you talking about? You can borrow my iPhone while we shoot. I'm not on the phone. He's like, no, would you shut up?
Yep. Yeah. I just started doing videos for chiropractors and doctors, and I said, hey, I'll do a commercial for you. I'll do it for $1,500.
Okay.
I just did it, edited it. I was really good at it. Really good at video.
You edited your own videos.
Yeah, I have
Full stack editor.
I have tons of commercials on my Vimeo channel.
Cool.
And then I started going into and I just kept going back and forth between like website design and then
Video
reputation
projects.
management, video.
Whatever.
I couldn't pick like a niche, so
Yeah.
eventually I got just so burned out. I was like, I can't do this anymore. I cannot solve everyone's problems. Because I remember driving down
How
the
long did you do this for?
I did this for another 3 years.
Is it Aaron Krall Enterprises?
No, the Click Marketing.
Oh, okay. You did Click Marketing, but then you went and did the video stuff.
I stayed as Click Marketing.
Okay, you just went and did it on your own. You left the partnership, did it on your own.
The partnership was Altamines. That was the name of that company.
It. All right, Altamines, you left to do Click Marketing.
Yeah.
And how long did you do that for?
Probably like 2 or 3 years.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then you ended up, I'm assuming, getting a job. You said it was hard?
No, it was really difficult. So I sold off all my clients and I took 2 months off.
But like SaaS Growth Hacks is what, 2 years old? 3 years?
3 years old now. Yeah.
Okay. And is this what you did before
That's
that?
what happened right after this break.
Okay.
Yeah.
Took the break. And then when did you learn the trial conversion email
Yeah.
free trial stuff.
So I had a mentor at the time, and he's like, "Hey, why don't you?" This wasn't my idea. It wasn't my idea to do any of this.
Yeah.
He was like, "Why don't you work with SaaS?" And I was like, "SaaS?
What does that stand for?
Oh no, that sounds really complicated. I don't even know if I want to get into that."
Yeah.
And then I found out what it was, and then he was like, "Why don't you start a Facebook group?" And I was like, "Okay." At this point in my life, I have no. I mean, I was just, you tell me something to do, and I'll do it.
Yeah, it sounds like productive.
Yeah, like I'm not going to ask any questions. I'm just going to I'll figure it out and do it. So I started the group, and I just invited people manually through LinkedIn and like cold email.
I remember you telling me about that cold email. That's smart.
Yeah.
Brilliant. I tried it. It didn't work.
One of the
maybe I said
you
it
didn't have
wrong.
the desperation.
I didn't. I guess, or maybe there was just a moment in time.
Yeah. That's long gone for me too. Yeah. But I started sending out emails, and then so I entered the niche without knowing what problem I was going to solve.
Okay.
Then as soon as I got into it, so what I would do is I asked people when they joined the group, I said, "What is the number one problem that you have?"
Yeah.
And then I started seeing trends. I would look through the Google Excel sheet, because I would.
And how big is the group today?
16,000.
That's crazy. I mean, I assume in the world there's only about 30,000 SaaS companies. So, I mean, that's cool.
Yeah, it's a huge. And we get about 150, 200 a week.
Easily
that, and we turn down probably 60% because they don't answer the questions.
Yeah.
So
I'm in the same boat. I got a group.
Our group could be way bigger, but I'm focused more on
quality.
Curate. Yeah, curation.
Yeah, got to keep it high quality.
So yeah. Then I figured out a problem to solve, and I went to SaaS companies. I was like, "Hey, I'll solve this problem for you if I don't do it."
What was the first SaaS company you worked with?
Oh man.
Origin stories are so important, Aaron. We need to craft that origin story.
I know.
My favorite is when I'm like, "Oh, I love that guy. What's his name again?" Oh, I look so stupid.
I can tell you this, that I'm not working with any of the clients that I originally worked with.
Okay, why is that?
Well,
too early? They were too small?
I made a bunch of mistakes. Some of the clients were really good, had but really major problems.
Yeah,
that I
like
was
co-founders not agreeing on stuff.
Yeah, that I was not capable of solving, and I just said, "I'll solve it for you. Let me just come in and see what I can solve for you."
Yeah,
I said, "Pay me X amount, pay me $5,000, and if I can't do it, I'll refund it to you." And it's hard.
You're
for somebody.
such a good dude, man.
It's hard to say no, even if I have no experience. They say, "Well, what experience do you have?" I'm like, I don't have any experience.
Doesn't matter.
But guess what? You're going to be my only client.
Yeah.
I'm going to spend 100% time on you.
Yeah.
And if you don't see results, I'm going to do all the work.
Yeah.
Second,
In
and
advance.
if you don't see results, then you don't have to pay anything.
Dude, where are the other Aaron Kralls? I'll bring those people on.
So I always tell people are like, "I don't have any case studies. Like I can't get any clients." And like, the reason you're not getting any clients is because you're not willing to put.
You're not hungry.
Yeah, and you're not hungry, and you're not willing to create a really irresistible offer.
Yeah.
So then I started and then I realized, man, I'm really good at onboarding because I had copywriting experience, and video. And so I just started researching onboarding.
Just put it closer to your.
Yeah. I started researching onboarding and looking at emails, started writing them, sending them out to clients, and they just worked really well. I was like, onboarding, maybe that's my thing. So then I just focused on that for the next year and a half.
Onboarding and then trials.
Onboarding, yeah, trial conversion. And I come from a marketing background.
Yeah.
So things like, conversion rate optimization for developers is like just totally out of their realm.
Yeah, like that sounds
so
like science.
So somebody like me who knows nothing about HTML, I couldn't code myself out of a
JavaScript, Node.
Yeah, I don't even know what that means, Casey. Now you're speaking. You could be speaking a totally different language right now.
That's about as far as I go now, because I'm a software guy that forgot how to code. I just don't know anything.
Yeah, I never got into software. I never really. I don't know anything about coding. I don't know anything about that kind of stuff. And so eventually, I just realized I'm really good at this. I'm just going to do this.
And what's been your favorite part being in this community?
Dude, I am amazed at, some of the movies you see about software companies and maybe it's just because I'm not in San Francisco, but everybody that I work with is just so cool and so humble. When I go to SaaS conferences, everybody that I talk to is just so open and they're so willing to chat. Good people. They're really good people.
Dude, it's funny. Jared, who's not in the room, thank God, because I'm going to talk about him. We had Elias from Drift, one of the co-founders, CTO. Yeah. And we needed to we have a show to shoot and da-da-da-da-da. And after I was like, dude, why didn't you push the schedule along? He's like, I'm not freaking talking to this guy's a multimillionaire. I don't know what I'm talking about. I'm like, dude, they're just good people. Yeah. Don't worry. It's normal.
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah. A lot of people, and it's crazy impressive the things they've done. I mean, you've seen this probably in even the last few years, these companies, you meet them here and all of a sudden, boom, they're at, 300 employees and 50 million in revenue. It's like, I don't even even, for people outside that all they know is like my uncle had a restaurant or my dad, had a lawn mowing company or whatever. It's a different level of scale.
Yeah.
But you've obviously continued to kind of sharpen the skills. I mean, we've both given presentations at SaaS Talk and many other SaaS-y types events. And you came and spoke at my last intensive or one of my in Boston on trial conversion systems, traffic. I think we did traffic conversion system and trial conversion system. You know your stuff, man. You're like really, really incredible at what you do. Where did that all come from? Like, who inspired you?
Yeah, that's really interesting. So this has taken me years to figure out, but I have always tried to. So this entrepreneur kind of like mindset is you have to know everything and be good at everything. For me, if I have to rely on someone else to to do something. Dangerous. Yeah, it's dangerous, and I lose control. And if I don't know it, then what value do I have? If I'm not the one providing all the information and the help, like what value do I have, right? My value comes from the knowledge that I have and what I'm able to teach people. And if I don't know something, then my value goes down. That's kind of like my mindset. So I had to break through that. And when I broke through that, I started to realize that number one, I don't need to have answers to all the questions. The producer on a movie, he doesn't do the acting. He doesn't do the editing. He doesn't all he does is bring all the right people together. But if you didn't have a producer in a movie, there would be no movie.
No movie
right?
gets made. Yep.
But you never see him. So I realized that one, I can be the producer in two different ways. One is I can bring people on and I can interview people who knows what they're talking about. And then my zone of genius really is taking raw materials from all these different places. It's funny, I have this book that it's probably 300 pages full of just junk mail.
What do you mean by junk mail?
It's like direct mail.
Okay, I was thinking
from the
mail.
1950s or something about, hey, come buy this jacket.
It's like copy. Is that?
It's copy. Yeah. It's copy. Yeah, and it has nothing to do with SaaS. And I'm getting all these materials, and I'm thinking, what other industries have solved these problems already, and how can I move it into the SaaS world? And so it's taking all these raw materials, from books and from courses and from videos and from what I know from my mentors. And then creating these frameworks from it, and it's something that you do too.
Yeah, man. Circles, squares,
you create
triangles.
And creating these frameworks from a lot of complicated ideas is really where I thrive.
Yeah.
And so if I see a problem in the SaaS community, retention, I dig deep into retention, and then I pull from all these resources that have nothing to do with SaaS, and then I put them together into a framework that combines the best of everything, and then we test it, and then make sure it works, and then when it works, we scale it out.
That's cool.
Yeah.
So what frustrates you about your group? Anything?
There are a lot of really sneaky marketers.
Sneaky buggers.
Yeah, sneaky buggers.
I do a public hanging with them in my group.
Yeah.
I just screenshot them, delete them, post it. Don't be this guy.
Yeah.
Sneaky.
But good news is,
just asking for advice.
Exactly.
You're not, buddy.
Exactly.
Trying to get users.
Exactly. Mm-hmm. I need some advice on my software.
Yeah, we are your peer, not your prospect.
Yeah,
get out of
exactly. So I have a really good group of admins, and they are just in the group chat is just all these gifs of just fire burning, we burn it with fire, burn all the posts with fire.
If somebody posts something like that,
they light up
the comments.
The chat blows up, the admin chat and Facebook. It's Josh will say something
I
just
didn't know
burn
there was
the
an
post.
admin chat. I need to check this out. There's an internal chat.
There's an internal Facebook chat for admins.
Oh, yeah. Maybe I'm not that skilled
invite only.
yet.
Invite only.
I'm not. Yeah, invite only.
But yeah, I have a really good group of admins. If it was up to me, I usually look at I usually assume the best of people. And so if somebody
positive intent.
Yeah. If somebody posts hey, I need to get feedback. I'm well, maybe the guy needs feedback, So
do you give him one warning?
We have a 3-strike rule.
Well, you're way nicer than I am.
Yeah.
I'm a no strike. I probably should give 2. I just feel when I do the public examples that I've given warning to everybody.
Yeah, and there's no excuse for them not to read the rules or there's no
it's all
excuse
written
for
there.
them.
Well, that's the problem is they don't even answer the questions. So if you don't answer the question or you answer them haphazardly, it's how do I expect them to get, to be a good contributor to the group?
Yeah, and also Facebook has this thing where it shows you if that's the first post.
Oh, it does
and
it?
so if their
Again, I
first
must not
post
have
is,
been invited.
hey, I need to get some advice on my software, and here it is, and here's what I'm selling, and here's a special discount for you, but don't buy it. I just need to get
I just need your advice.
I just need to get advice.
We should do voices like that for the rest of our. I'll do my custom. I'll do my interpretation of the Facebook group, and you do yours. It's like, I need some help here, boys.
I need some help. I don't really know how to do it.
Oh my gosh, I love. You know, it's funny because like it's always the same stuff. It's literally the early people are like, I need to find somebody that's gonna build my vision, but I don't have any money. Who knows? Who knows somebody?
Yeah.
Or hey, I found this thing that I can just snap things together. It'll build my code. What do you guys think?
Yeah,
It's
it's like
point to
we
a
get the question
revenue-
all the
yeah.
time. Hey, what's an intercom alternative?
Oh my God, what's the best email tool?
Yeah, what's the best email tool?
And what's funny is those threads blow up because everybody has
Everyone's
an
got a
opinion.
strong opinion about
Very
it, but there's
strong.
like 100 of them.
It doesn't matter. Just pick one.
And that's
Move
what's so
on.
cool about those groups is if we ask the right question,
Yeah.
people will just light it up. They'll
What's
light up the
some
comment
of the
section.
like most magical moments that you've seen? You know,
In the-
16,000 group. Yeah, just like these, like, you know, just things that have happened either in real life or in the group that have just made you smile.
I know tons of people that have made really good partnerships in the group. Like they
Really?
met somebody like, hey, we can let's integrate together. Let's joint
Any
partnership.
examples you can think of?
I can't think of any like particular ones, but I know.
People have said.
Yeah.
Yeah.
People as I met this guy and this was like
Any in-person stuff? I know we had a meetup last night. I was late too.
there's SGH meetups all over the world.
Have you done swag yet?
No.
You don't know. You don't.
I was
watch
thinking
YouTube? You gotta
no.
get merch.
I was thinking about doing
Buy my
bandanas. What do you
merch.
think?
Bandanas?
Yeah, bandanas or like a gold tooth.
Oh my God, I love
SGH.
it. I love it.
If any of you know how to get gold
Dude,
tooths
you
at
should do a whole
scale.
lot of merch of like the worst merch.
worst merch you can think
Yeah,
of.
just like he's got to be joking.
Clown shoes with like SGH on it in my face.
Yeah. Just like, yeah, you got to put your face on it in full color. Just like no reason whatsoever.
No, I've thought about doing merch, but I just like one of those things that just gonna pull me away from what's important.
Yeah.
You know, if I had somebody to do it for me, I'd be like, hey, just
no,
go
I
create
mean,
merch.
Yeah, that's not what you're
Yeah, I don't
doing.
wanna start
and
an
then
e-commerce store.
in regards to like learning how to offer, you know, customers what they want, you know, it sounds like you were broad in the beginning,
Yeah.
got more focus, niche. Now what you're doing, like what have you learned about that process to help people?
Oh man, everybody told me at the beginning that you should focus on a niche, and I said,
Why do people don't? Do you think it's because they're worried they're going to pick the wrong niche? Because here's the funny part.
Oh,
is
yeah.
It doesn't matter what niche you pick. Like it doesn't matter. Like I think people are like, well, okay, let's say I'm in the health. So you think I should just do like muscle gain program? It's like, yeah, there's a market in the health space for just people who want to put on muscle, or you know, even in the muscle gain is for the skinny guy, you know, or the whatever
Skinny
like,
nerd.
Yeah, the skinny nerd muscle gain. Like you can little like people think, well, what if I go too narrow and it's not a big enough market? It's like no, and you don't got to stay there. You just got to be known
you got to
for
start
it.
there to get traction, and then you scale, and then you can move up.
So everybody told you this, and you did.
I didn't do it. I didn't do it because I was afraid. Well, if I focus on too much, then what about all these other companies that are going to come to me? Do I say no? Do I say no? Do I turn them away?
business?
Yeah,
Cash
that's
is
crazy.
free.
I can barely pay my rent. You know,
Money.
And so there's this fine line between like understanding and serving a niche, and then being an idiot and not taking on clients that you need to take on when you're starting.
Is your homepage still your face? Like, is it a blue?
It's a GIF of my face.
Yes.
It's a GIF, and I'm
Was
like
it a GIF?
going back and
Was
forth.
it always a GIF though?
No, it's not a GIF. No.
No, it's not a GIF. It's a photo.
It's just
right?
a photo, yeah.
Yeah, I remember. Yeah. Do you remember our first conversation?
I do remember. I remember like it was yesterday.
Tell me about it.
So you sent me an email and you said, "Hey, Dan Martell here." Somebody
You
said
know
we
me,
should-
clearly.
Somebody. That's exactly what I thought. Somebody said we should chat. Hit me up, and I was like, "Dan Martell.
Who is
this guy?" So then I looked him up. I looked you up. I'm talking about you like your third person.
third
So I looked him up
person. I hear.
at Dan, and I was like, "Oh, well, this guy sounds like he knows what he's doing. Clarity. Wow. All right." Sweet. So
Had you heard of Clarity?
Yeah, I've definitely heard of Clarity.
Okay, cool.
And I was like, wow. And I was pretty intimidated initially.
Zoom video, I think, right?
And it was a Zoom video, and you had your
video.
iPad out, and I think you shared your screen with me. You were drawing on your iPad, and I was like, what is this guy doing? Why is he drawing on his iPad? I thought it was cool.
Yeah.
And I was like, wow.
What were we talking about?
I need
Onboarding?
to get an iPad. No, yeah, we were talking about onboarding.
I can't talk and not draw.
You were kind of like vetting me a little bit.
Maybe.
And then you said, and this was before Christmas.
Yeah.
And you said, oh, you have a course? Let me buy it. And I was like, what?
I did. I bought your course.
And you bought my course?
I buy everything. Well, I mean, obviously,
well,
I thought
thanks.
it was
Now
going
it
to be
makes
good.
me feel
Sorry,
really special.
I buy everything that I think
I got
is
a bunch
good.
of seeds I want to sell you.
Yeah.
Dan, they go up to the sky.
Yeah, they're and this goose.
And you bought my course, and I was like, whoa, sweet, that's cool. And then
Was that your first client? I said, fuck, somebody bought my course.
Hey, Dad, somebody bought my course.
Yeah. And he drew me a picture.
And it was in Christmas. Like, oh, sweet, extra Christmas money. I remember thinking that. Extra Christmas money I didn't think I was going to get.
Yeah.
And I was like, really, this is really cool. And then most of the conversations I have with people end up turning into nothing. Mm-hmm. Like, I talk with people all the time, like, hey, let's do this. And I'm like, sure. And then nothing ever happens. But like, we kept in contact. And then I was like really impressed by you. And then you said, let's do a live in your group. And then we did a Facebook Live where you just said, hey, I just want to talk about, I think it was the winning webinar method.
I did it in your group.
Yeah.
You
did a live.
Me the winning webinar.
Yeah, and I was like, wow, this is really cool. And the way that you talked to people and you brought people on, I remember distinctly you saying, all right, welcome. What is the company and what is the problem you solve? Who does your market and what is the problem you solve? You used to say that for every single person that got, because we did an AMA. And I was like, man, this guy really thinks, I think.
But isn't it funny? I think I remember that. It might have been around that time, but like people get on and they still wouldn't answer the question.
I remember that. I remember like, hey,
And
you're
I'd
not,
be like,
I remember
yeah.
you saying that.
Yeah, hey, man.
Hey, you're not answering
go-
the question.
yeah.
Yeah, like, or
Let's
it's
start
too
right
long.
here.
It's too long of
Yeah,
a
yeah,
question.
yeah.
How do I get leads? And I'm like, you're like, I don't.
You didn't answer the question. Yeah. Is my business idea good? It's like, I don't know, man. It's so weird.
What should I do with my business?
Yeah, I get those. It's like, here's my business plan. What do you think? Yeah, I got nothing better. Let me print this off Sunday morning. I'll block out 3 hours and I'll give you a very detailed.
I know. Yeah.
Yeah.
I've had to say no a lot.
So
of
that
times.
was the first time that we get to collaborate, and then we hung out at SaaS Stock.
Yeah,
and
we
then
hung
were
out at SaaS Stock, and then from that
conference
moment on, we were best
buds.
buds.
Yeah, best buds. Yeah, because it's fun, man. Like I love meeting people like yourself, Aaron, that are just, you're hungry, you're smart, you're thoughtful, you're kind.
No, keep going.
Yeah, no, I'm like, what else could I
Why
add
stop?
in there to? Yeah. No, don't stop.
Don't stop, Dan.
How else did you feel? And that, it's just like unanimous. Everybody you talk to feels that way. And I've seen, to me, it's performance over time. And that's how I do vet people. I'm like, hey man, let's get on a call. Let's do video. I want to like look at your eyes.
Yeah.
I want to see like, how do you think about it? And the funny part is at that time, cause I get called all the time from all my software friends, like who's the best guy? Who should I turn to? Blah, blah, blah. And I like to know who's actually good. And around that time, I probably talked to like 5 different people that were known for similar stuff to you. Mm-hmm. And I didn't collaborate with any of the other ones, right? Just because you meet them and you're like, I don't think he knows what he's talking about, or I don't feel like he's in it for the right reasons, or, I just don't think he's actually going to deliver results or whatever it is. And then I had you come speak at my event, which was super fun. Was it cool? I mean, whatever, who cares? It's like, should I say
Just a loaded question, Dan.
Was it cool to because I think I flew you out on business. Was that fun?
That was the best speaking experience I've ever had in my life.
I like to do unto others, right? What was the best? What made it the best speaking experience?
Well, I had my own personal waiter and a masseuse, and that
was like even before you got on the plane.
That was even before I got on the plane. I was in the plane.
That's
That was right before
like,
airport security.
When they land, how do you want that experience? I'm like, before they get to the airport.
I had a guy literally lift me from airport security to the plane.
Come with me, sir. Mr. Martell asked me that I personally handle you all the way to the door. But I mean, Larry almost acts like that. So
yeah, I mean, you set me up with this guy that
I call him ground control.
Texted me my flight, my updates. I got into business class. I was like, this is why people get freaking flyer miles.
Yeah, man.
Like, this is why people pay extra. This is absolutely amazing. It was the best speaking flight experience I've ever had.
That's cool.
Hands down. No one's ever done that for me. And like, you really want to make an impression on someone, you treat them like you want to be treated. And that was like, from that moment on, I was like, whatever, wherever.
It's little stuff. Even like
Yeah.
when people come, if I fly somebody into my hometown to speak at a thing, I always like meet them at the airport, pick them up, drop them, wake up at 5 in the morning, drop them off. Like, I just feel like, I remember big Omaha, Jeff Slobotsky, he did this, you know, like picks me up. Like he's running the event. There's 1,500 people and he's like, yo, hey Dan, thanks so much for coming to Omaha. I'm like, don't you have, like, he's like, I got a team. I just wanted to make sure. And I was like, he's like, you need anything? I was like, well, I forgot my phone charger. I mean, I don't even want to say it. I don't want to say it. And he's like, no worries. We'll get you a phone charger. I'm like, this is crazy. Dude. And I didn't do this for you. I apologize. He even gave me a credit card with a prepaid credit card.
No way.
Yeah. So like, I'm like, oh, he put $50 on this, right? So like, I'm gonna like, I might've had it in my laptop bag, but I never used it. And maybe 6 months later, I'm talking to Jeff and I'm like, hey man, I just want to tell you, thanks for picking me up. Incredible experience, all this stuff. And like, yeah, it was really nice to touch with, you know, that credit card or whatever, prepaid, you know, but like, you know, I didn't use it. I'm not going to use it. I don't know if
you don't
get the money
expect
back.
20, 25, 50 bucks maybe.
He's like, dude, there's $500 on there. I was like,
what?
I may use it now. Can I go buy something? You know, like, yeah, like real money.
Wow.
Isn't that crazy?
Yeah.
Yeah. So
I mean, and how often, and just the fact that you're telling the story, you know, and talking about it.
Dude, he had Jack Dorsey. He had all the top speakers because he treated people like that.
Yeah.
It was an indie event. Most people, it was a flyover state. They were punching way above their weight for, you know, Gary Vee spoke there multiple years in a row just because of the quality. Mm-hmm. Little things, man. Little things.
I would much rather spend $1,000 flying someone first class and giving a credit card full of, you know, somebody, an influencer, or even maybe not an influencer, just somebody, because you never know, they're always going to talk about that story. I'd rather spend that money than doing it like,
well,
you know.
My buddy Jason Gaynard's got a great, I don't know if it's his, but he says it quite often, you know, go the extra mile because it's rarely crowded.
Oh yeah.
So good, right?
100%. I love that.
It's like just that last little thing.
Yeah.
Because in doing that, it's really in that moment that you get what you hope, which is referrals, word of mouth, people appreciating things. You can do everything else great, but it's that last 10% that's going to get you the bang. What are you seeing? I mean, let's talk SaaS since, you know, this is predominantly what we talk about. What are you seeing in the world of like onboarding, activation, conversions that you're liking? You know, companies doing some smart stuff, or is it still pretty basic?
You know, there's 2 onboarding experiences I went through that really blew me away recently. The first one was Superhuman.
Unpack this for people because I got to figure out, I think I know the name of the founder. Do you know the founder name? I got to get him on here because everybody tells me about Superhuman.
I think it's Rahul.
Yes, I believe so. And they are funded. I think Andreessen invested.
Yep.
Unpack it for people.
Unbelievable. So for those of you who don't know, Superhuman is an email platform.
That's why it blows my mind.
Yeah, and you pay $30 a month for it, for email.
Blown twice.
Yeah.
I don't need another email client, and I'm not paying for it.
Yeah.
But somehow they've been able to get people to do this at scale.
And
are you a customer?
I am a customer, yeah.
All right, give me an invite.
I love Superhuman.
I
love it. But in order to get into Superhuman, you need to take you need to apply. You need to apply, like they did for Gmail.
Yeah.
And they ask you questions like, do you use these plugins? Are these plugins necessary for you? Do you do this? How do you use email? The first time I filled it out, I was like, okay. And I put on all these plugins that I use. And I was like, I need to have these,
How
and
long
these.
did it take you to fill out?
I don't know, probably like
5 minutes?
5 minutes.
Okay.
Yeah, it wasn't too long.
Okay. Didn't feel onerous.
I got an email from Rahul or from their team. It was like, hey, we looked at
Sure you did.
We got
from
Rahul literally.
Automated.
He sat down.
And he crafted a personalized. He took a
He reviews
screenshot of
every
my
application.
website. Yeah.
And he personally sent me an email and he said, hey, I don't think you're going to be a good fit for Superhuman.
Did you get
So
rejected?
sorry.
Did you?
I got rejected.
Oh, snap.
I got rejected and I was like, no. So I freaked out. I replied. I was like, well, I don't really need access to all those plugins. I just, and I'm going to be a good customer.
Okay, because I was wondering if they were actually rejecting people.
Oh yeah,
you got rejected.
I got rejected, and that's one thing that I really appreciated.
Yeah,
because you see, I mean, there's all these things like countdown timers.
They'll take
like,
your money.
Yeah. It's
all
playing,
fake.
It's playing on. It's fake scarcity. It's fake that. But what they did was they pre-qualified people, knowing that if they didn't meet certain criteria, they wouldn't have a good experience with the product. Like if I needed to have,
talk about
Clearbit and I couldn't get it on Superhuman, I'm not going to leave a good review of Clearbit.
Yeah,
or
and retention
Superhuman.
is going to go crap. So
exactly. And then once I got into the tool, they forced me to go
demo.
They forced me to go to a demo.
I've heard this.
And I could not create my account.
No, but is that where they do the sale technically?
That's when they do the sale.
Did they take a credit card?
Yeah.
On the call?
Yeah.
I love this.
Yeah, they did the demo, and they were like, tell me some of your email frustrations. And I was like, well, this, and this, and this. And he's like, well, let me show you how I can solve.
Do you
some
feel
of
like
those.
he was actually doing a sales process?
I was really paying attention to because my whole job.
Dude, you're reverse engineering. Stuff all the time.
My
You're
job
looking
is
for
paying
patterns.
attention to this.
You're an investigator.
Yeah, so I paid a lot of
SaaS
attention to it.
What is it? Investor Coup? Oh, forgot. I was gonna make a joke. It was gonna be good too.
Columbo?
Yeah,
Is that
but
what
like
you're talking
Investor Cousteau or whatever.
Oh, Cousteau. Yeah. Jean Cousteau.
Yeah, SaaS Cousteau.
And I was like, I know this is going to be a sales call. I know they're going to sell me on something. Let me just look and see how they're going to do it. And the demo was really good. It was really good. By that time, I was so emotionally invested into the product because here's what happened. I skipped this. I reapplied under a different email address.
Like, screw them. I'm going to change my application.
And I said, nope, I don't need any plugins. Nope,
I don't.
I just want to pay for your. I probably said, I just want to pay for email.
You did the opposite of your first application.
Exactly. And then they sent me an email like, oh, it looks like you qualified. And I was like, oh, good. They didn't
Thank goodness.
track my
Google
emails
me.
or duplicate,
Yeah.
And so finally I got into the demo, went through the demo.
What's so great about the product? Is it really? Is it because you're emotionally connected to it now?
I think probably. Probably there's a huge amount of ego involved in
Okay.
that because I spent so much time trying to get in.
Like
so
for $30 is 3 Netflix. 3 Netflix value is pretty high.
yeah,
Do you get 3 Netflix worth
I
of value?
feel like I get $30 of value a month from
Okay.
Superhuman. What I don't know is if I can do the same thing on Gmail. I don't know. There's things on
They have
Superhuman.
automation stuff, but which is right. That's what I've
Superhuman?
heard. Yeah, Superhuman.
No, they
They don't
don't.
have automation like filters and stuff.
Oh yeah, they have filters and stuff like that. But I mean, it's so great when I get an email from someone that says, "Hey, follow up with me in 2 weeks." I go, "Cool." I press H. I just press H on the keyboard and say 2 weeks. Boom, and then it'll send me a reminder in 2 weeks.
Yeah. So like that's the thing is the Gmail Labs and Gmail plugins. It has all these features now, but because Gmail is trying to, it's like Word, right? It's like I'm trying
getting
to,
out of control.
Yeah. Well, and they bury things to not scare first-time users. So for a power user, but that's the whole thing. Is Word is arguably one of the most successful software products, in the history of all mankind. It can technically do everything, but how you do that is, advanced features versus non. So maybe it's the same thing. They just kind of like had a bit more. Is there anything unique that you think that they do that others don't? Is it the hot? Because they train you on the hotkeys.
They're hot. Yeah, they train you on the hotkeys.
See, that's the thing is, again, I was showing Jarrett today my email process, and I didn't realize how much hotkeys because he's like, whoa, what just happened?
J.
I'm just like, I don't touch my mouse, and I'm moving between docs and copy and pasting links and da da da.
You do that on Gmail?
Yeah, that's the thing. There's a button that says hotkeys, enable hotkeys, and you click it. Right?
Don't tell me this, Dan. Don't tell me this.
Well, it's just and I heard the interaction design is beautiful.
It is.
Yeah. What else?
And their focus.
Maybe the next day I can burst.
And their focus is really interesting. Their focus is inbox zero.
Yeah.
And that's not a concept that what's really interesting is that the concepts
Do
that
they get you to go to your newsletter full and just unsubscribe? Because that'll get you to inbox. Most people's inbox is full of newsletters.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
So do they make you do that? Do they
you command U is unsubscribe.
So you don't need to find the link. That's pretty cool.
Command U is unsubscribe and delete all emails from this person.
That's pretty badass.
Yeah. So I can label stuff and I can move stuff into folders.
That's worth $30, especially for my assistant.
Maybe
she's like, I'm trying to unsubscribe, but it's like
trying to find
whack-a-mole.
out that it's
She's like whack-a-mole, and she's like, I think when I unsubscribe from one list, it tells the other guy they sell your email, and I'm like,
yeah, this guy's active. He unsubscribed. Yeah, it's a real email.
Yeah,
so,
and then
boom.
they're like, oh, you don't want to be on my list? That's cool. I'm going to sell you for like 15 cents to these 3 other guys. That's what she thinks because she's like, it doesn't make sense.
Smart,
it's whack-a-mole. Every time she gets rid of one, it seems like there's more that show up.
Yeah,
and I'm not
100%.
subscribing to newsletters.
Yeah, 100%. So there's all these little shortcut things and the idea of inbox zero and all that. But anyway, so the onboarding is really great after that experience too because they send out drip emails, which I've always said, drip emails if you can't
This is what
do,
you teach.
If you can't do triggered emails, like do drip emails.
Yeah.
But the drip emails are just
and
so,
unpack
are so
trigger
good.
versus drip.
So trigger is sending emails based on user actions or inaction. So after 3 days, if they haven't sent an
stage or
email
a
yet, you
phase
send
to
an
that,
email that says, "Hey, you haven't sent an email yet. Here's how to do it." But with drip, with Superhuman, they have a drip campaign that you go into, and it's like every email is. And this is what I teach. Is it talks about a pain. Ever sent an email you didn't want to send, and then it says something like we've all done it. Sent an email to someone that we didn't want to send it to, and then we couldn't undo it. With Superhuman, it's easy. You do this, and there's a little GIF, and it shows you the undo, which is really quick. Try it out now, Rahul. Like that's it. That's the whole email.
So Rahul sent you another personal email. Man, this is great.
I don't know how the guy does
do the things that don't scale. I keep hearing
do the
it.
things
This
that
is
don't
just
scale.
that's what's most impressive about this whole thing.
It's amazing. Rahul, if you're listening, thank you so much for spending the time.
Rahul, just come on the show so we can talk about.
How do you do it? You have 2 hands?
Yeah, 2 hands.
2 hands running Superhuman.
He's working, full hours.
So it was really good because every email that I got after that was like, what are they going to show me now?
He's like sent using Superhuman because like he created all this like stuff using his own tool.
Yeah,
personalized email at scale using Superhuman.
Yeah. So, and then each email after that, I would be like, "Ooh, I wonder what new kind of cool thing they're going to show me next time." And like the next thing was like hotkey. Like, oh wow, I didn't know I could do that in Superhuman. The next email.
Okay,
was
so
like,
they're teaching you through the drip.
Yeah.
And do you think they prioritize based on what they knew?
Oh, 100%.
Yeah. So they looked at, this is the thing I tell people to do is look at your activity stream. That's why I call activity stream, essentially your data features
and I'm sure they
for
have an
highest
activation
retention.
metric too.
Yeah. And they're like, oh, people that retain use these things, front load them in your sequence.
Yeah. Like that command unsubscribe, that was one of the emails.
Yeah.
I forgot from the demo that's one thing that I could do.
Okay, so they still demo it. And this might be a good lesson learned is just because you taught it to somebody doesn't mean...
100%. They're not going to remember. They're only going to remember a few things.
Yeah.
And what's even interesting is, I'll go through the commands and I'll be like, oh, I remember they talked about this in the demo, but I totally forgot about it. So people do not care about you and they don't care about your product. What they care about is their problem. And if you can show them how to solve their problems on a regular basis, then they're going to love you for it. Even if you've already told them once.
Yeah.
As
long as you start with that problem statement.
Yeah.
And then you said that's one onboard.
Yeah. The other one I went through was, it's kind of embarrassing. Noom.
That's not that embarrassing.
Well,
All right. I was expecting something a little bit more edgier, dude.
What were you thinking, Dan?
I'm not going to say.
So I signed up for Noom.
Rhymes with torn up. Not joking. So what's Noom?
Noom is a weight loss app.
I'm like, that's not that embarrassing. I don't even know what it is.
Noom is a weight loss app.
Okay.
And the thing about weight loss
is weight loss or just food tracking?
It's weight loss.
Okay, cool.
It's weight loss. The thing about weight loss is that, dude, trying to enter the weight loss market in 2019,
crazy.
That is crazy.
Yeah.
It's totally crazy.
It's called a red ocean.
Yeah, it's a bloody
put on your
organs.
Yeah. Speedo and jump on in.
Yeah.
It's going to be fun.
And it's really amazing because going through the app, I was paying really close attention to everything. And it's a mobile app, right?
Are you screenshotting everything?
No.
No?
No.
One of those? Dude,
No.
There was a period where if you looked at my screenshots folder on my computer, it was like literally...
On my computer, I do it all the time.
Yeah, just like this like sequence of tools I use and interface designs is working.
Yeah. I mean, I do it all the time on my desktop. But,
yeah.
But yeah, so I was going through it and it's great. They've gamified the process. They only
What made you choose their product, even from the top of the funnel?
There was a lot of really good marketing.
Okay,
They did a lot of really good.
Do you think you got tagged, remarketed to?
Oh yeah, 100%.
Really? So you might have done some searching.
Yeah, I think I went to their website or something, and I'm sure they're focusing on. I'm sure they're targeting like dads that work at home on the computer.
Yeah. Did one of your ads are like, are you a dad that works at home on a computer? It's like,
wait a second. Is your name
Facebook
Aaron?
has all that.
What
Yeah.
Yeah. No, they had some really good marketing. I think they really understood their customer. Some of the messaging was like, finally a weight loss program that works. I don't know if that's cliche.
Pretty generic.
That sounds pretty generic, but it was something similar to something, tried everything else and nothing works. Try Noom free. It's the new weight loss.
New vehicle.
Yeah. It's a new vehicle. Exactly.
Yeah.
It was a new vehicle that I'd never seen before because I've seen all these like
What's their
Beachbody
hook?
diets.
What makes it different?
Their hook is it's a mindset thing.
That's good.
It's a mindset thing. You can eat whatever you want.
Yep.
Just limit quantity.
Yep.
And there's a lot of like limiting beliefs that you have about negative emotions towards food and like positive emotions towards food.
Dude, I have a friend, Jose. She runs a program called Your Way Weight Loss, YWWL. And like my dad lost 60 pounds. My stepmother lost like 50 pounds and like, and then a bunch of other people. And I'm like, what is she doing? And they're like, mindset.
Yeah.
Like they go, every week there's accountability. So we have to log in. We got to act. This is in my hometown. They physically go stand on the thing. And then they do like a mini motivational talk. It's so like low production. They just live stream it on the Facebook group. And it's the Jose doing it all about mindset. And that's it, man.
Yeah. Yeah.
No prescription. They're like, whatever you want to do. If you want to walk, you want to work out, you want to do CrossFit, whatever you want to do. Like, we're not here to judge you. It's your thinking around nutrition and health. And
and every day they have like they introduce a new topic to you. So they don't introduce it all at once. You can't skip ahead.
Every day?
Every day.
So, and the content and the copy is written in a way that you want to consume it?
Yeah. It's like, it's a little too
generic.
No, it's a little too, quirky for me, or like, I don't know.
Cutesy?
Cutesy.
Yeah.
I think, but it has personality. They're trying to be different. And I'm grateful for somebody to finally
have some
personality because everything else is so bland.
Yeah.
And then they set you up with a coach.
No way.
A coach that texts you and says, hey, we noticed you haven't logged in your meals. Yeah.
Is it Rahul?
Just kidding.
Imagine it's just double. Like,
Rahul, how do you do it? How are you doing this?
Signs off, Rahul. So good. But I mean, this is like, sometimes it can be that simple. Those are the things. It's not about points or, doing some keto thing or whatever. It's just like mindset, accountability, and then an app to track it all. And then what was specific about their onboarding that you really liked?
There's a few things. One is that they tried to deliver quick wins. And it's hard to deliver quick wins with weight loss.
What, drink more water?
No, it was more like they actually ask you to go through and like, what is your why? Like, why do you want to lose weight? And you press next and it said, well, why do you want that? And you type it in and then you press next and it goes, well, why do you want that? Like, it actually walked you through this process that I'd never had. It just made it so easy for me to kind of like understand what they were saying by making it engaging and also doing one action at a time. Yeah. There's so many other ways they could have done it. They just said, take a notebook and write down your why. Do it at the next step. But they actually like physically kept digging. And I remember, wow, this is really cool. Like, and then they say, every time you click next, you say, is this your final why? Do you emotionally resonate with this? If not, click next. And then you keep going.
Just 5 whys. It could be 3 whys or 7 whys.
Yeah, it could be 3 or 10. And then finally it said, well, that's great. Your motivation is, and then it wrote it down and said, that's awesome. Good for you. Okay. Time to like keep moving. So like, there's just things like that where the amount of brain power that I had to use to figure out what to do next was so minimal. Yeah. Like all I knew is I had to answer the questions. And I had to think about my why, and they
but that was
pre-framed it.
Yeah, you want that.
Yeah, they said we know this is going to be hard.
It's not like a configuration screen, and you're like, you need this for this to work.
Yeah, exactly. And it explained your why is the reason that you're going to lose weight, so you have to spend time with it. They explained it, pre-framed it. I understand the importance. I know the benefit. So now I'm going to spend the extra time to figure out my why, and it's like all scattered throughout the onboarding, and then. Every day that you finish, there's a little check mark. If you don't finish today, it's an outline of a check. And dude, that drives me crazy with the outline of a check. Oh, man.
It's like an L. You don't want an L.
Yeah.
Aaron, I could talk to you all day because I usually do. Looking back over the last few years building SGH and just being, successful as an entrepreneur, who have you had to become to be the person leading this tribe in the movement? What are some of the mindset beliefs?
One thing that I've had to really figure out is how to not be emotionally attached to results of things. So I would get I would, you know, I used to hate when people leave the group. You know, I'd be like, oh no, that's a reflection on me, you know, as a person and my value.
The free public Facebook group.
Yeah. People would actually physically leave the group, or
how do you know that? Is there a screen?
you can see it. You can see how many people leave the group. Yeah,
I gotta go find
it
out.
gives
Maybe
you gives you their physical address and their phone number and their GPS, so you can go find out why.
F you, Rahul. Sorry, I had to.
So I would take all of these like results of things that I put out something, and if the result was negative, I am now a negative person. I mean, it reflects negatively on me. My value is now decreased because I got a result that I didn't want. If it's a positive result, I have now more value because I have brought value into the world, and I need this reassuring. It's kind of an addiction to.
But you tie your identity.
You tie your identity to the results, yeah. And so being able to say, I did this and it didn't work is okay. It doesn't reflect on my values as a person, doesn't reflect on my inherent worth, and that's okay. It's not bad or good, it just is, and I'm gonna make the change and can keep going because I'm not emotionally attached to that specific result. And so for me, that's been a huge change. You see, there's a lot of negativity in the group. People comment on my posts all the time, say, that's a terrible idea. Why would you say this? Why would you even, and I firmly believe that's a good idea. And I'm not emotionally attached to it. I just say, well, that's fine.
It's your opinion.
Yeah, it's your opinion, and that's totally cool. And so that's been a huge thing for me. I don't really consider myself to be like a really good leader. What I do consider myself to be is really good at making people feel important. And so that's what I contribute. A lot of my success to the group is when people joined, I would reach out to him, like Rahul. I would reach out to everybody individually, and I would say, thank you for joining the group. This is Aaron, the founder of the group. Can you please?
Did you really manually do that at first?
Yeah. I manually I would welcome everyone to the group through Facebook, and then I would say, can you please introduce yourself in the group and talk about yourself? Tell everyone what it is and what you do. Right. And I mean, it's there's the world of Facebook is that, man, if the Facebook group founder reaches out to you, it's like a celebrity, you know, it's just,
but sure, you're the creator of this thing that they spend time in every day.
Again, it's framing. And people would go in and they'd introduce themselves, and then I'd start conversations. And then, but back to your question, I think getting emotionally detaching myself from results is a really big thing. And also being patient with myself. I'd like to be a lot further along than I am now. I'd like to be 10 years further right now where I'm at. And just being able to say, one of my favorite phrases is, I'm doing the best that I can with what I have and what I know now.
Yep.
There's nothing more that someone should expect from you, considering what you know now and what you have.
Yeah.
And so being hard on yourself and saying, well, what an idiot, I wish I did that. Well, you did the best that you could with what you had at the time.
Yeah,
you know?
The comparing, I think, is killing and crushing people.
Yeah.
It's like, don't compare your chapter 1 to somebody else's chapter 10.
Exactly.
How do people get a hold of you, Aaron? Where do you obviously go check
Go to my
out?
Facebook group. Yeah, go to SaaS Growth Hacks. It's a Facebook group.
Yeah. Somebody wants to work with you?
Yeah.
Where should they go?
If you go to aaronkrall.io, AARONKRALL.io. But if you go to the group and you just put in, yes, I need help in one of the questions, I'll reach out to you right away.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Aaron, you put out so much, and not only produce content, teach, but curate such an incredible group of founders that for a long time in the SaaS space, there really wasn't a place. And other people have tried, but I always felt like they were doing it for their own purposes.
Exactly.
And even though, yes, there's a commercial aspect to it, you've really kind of been bent more towards the value add to the community. And I just have always appreciated and been inspired by that. So I just want to thank you for that, man.
Thanks, Dan. Appreciate it.
Dude, appreciate you coming on. Thanks for watching this episode of Escape Velocity. Be sure to like and subscribe and leave a comment with your biggest insight from our conversation. Be sure to check out the next episode.